I saw that in DC, the 911 operators are what? Oh my God! Y'all don't even know what I was gonna say. What's happening? Oh my God! Trust me, this is gonna go somewhere good. Just let me do the show. Oh my God! For a split second, I was like, "Are y'all gonna come up here?" Like this feels like the last thing Chris Rock saw before it's just the 22 of you just Wow. Okay. All right. Well, 911. Or they're basically starting a program where 911 operators are going to get $800 if they go to all of their shifts, right? If they don't call out, if they don't miss a shift. And I didn't know that this was that much of a problem, right? Because when you think about it, 911 is a pretty hard job to call out of. Yeah, I mean, like if you work at 911 and you're like, hey, I can't come in today, and they're like, why? And you're like, oh, it's an emergency. It's like, oh, tell me about it. Tell me what. Nah, it's personal. But yeah, apparently that's been happening. Apparently there's been very, very few shifts that have been like, did you call them or something? You were like, did you? Did something happen to you personally? Or?
It's just a frustration I have with the city. Like,
oh, okay. Oh, you just don't like it here. Like, you got a bigger thing. You got a bigger...
if I call them, I'm finna die.
Yeah. But to be fair, when you call them, it's because you're finna die. Like, it's... Got you. This is my thing. It's like, it's got to be hard to a certain degree. I try to give people a little bit of grace because it's got to be hard to, like, take those calls, you know? Because whenever I get an emergency call as a friend, I don't handle it well. You know what I mean? Like when my friend calls me as if I'm 911, calls me as like, oh my God, I need you to come pick me up. I need your help. Blah, blah, blah. I'm always immediately like, why'd your stupid ass go over there to begin with? Like they're clearly still in the emergency. And I'm like, see, that's why I told your dumb ass not to go over there. Because you love hanging out with them. They make you feel cool and everything. But now that somebody got popped, now you want help. So now I'm supposed to come over and get shot so I can prove I'm really your friend. Because notice you didn't call him. You called me, all right? Because you knew he wouldn't come. Now I'm sending an Uber driver over there just with a note to be like, don't wait long. Like if he doesn't get in, then he not there. So I get it. I get how it's got to be one of the hardest jobs because you're taking the emergency, but you're also powerless, right? You can send somebody the way I sent that Uber. And to be fair, you know, when 911 sends somebody, they know that they're the emergency service. My driver thought he was picking me up. My friend running up to the car. He's over here like, for Josh? He's like, yeah, whatever. You know? So it's like you're in a tough spot because you are genuinely powerless to what's happening. And you must hear just the worst stories. Just the worst things. You know what I mean? Nobody calls to chat. You know what I mean? Nobody calls 911 to be like, how's your day going? Does anybody ever ask you how you know what I mean? I will say that, okay, I'm digressing for a second, but it does make me mad. As much as we are surveilled, why when you call 911, they don't know it's you? Do you know what I mean? Like, I get so mad. Like, I've only had to call 911 a couple times in my whole life, and then they're like, 911, what's your emergency? Like, what? What are you talking about? What is my, who am I? And they're like, where are you? I called from a home phone. I called from a hard line. People don't even have those anymore. You don't know exactly where I am right now? It's like, no, we actually can't trace the call. Oh, okay. You want to come find? I'm going to kill the president. Can you find me now? Like, that's... That's insane. We can't tell where you are right now. We don't know. What? You know my whole browser history, and you don't know where I am. All right, whatever. But then, yeah, people have been calling out, so now they've started this initiative to be like, hey, maybe. And look, I don't know what 911 operators in D.C. or anywhere in the country, I don't know what they get paid. I'm sure whatever they get paid is not enough, because I'm sure that every day, no matter the situation, at least one tragic thing happens that they just have to take home with them. You know? And then you have to take the next emergency like you didn't just hear the last emergency. You know? Because nobody thinks about that. When you call 911, that person probably wants to tell you, can you give me a second? Can you give me a second? Because there was an active shooter situation, and then they just hung up. So now I'm talking to you. So I'm sorry, what's that about your chest pains again? You know? So it's got to be incredibly difficult. I understand why you wouldn't go back. I've quit jobs for far less. I think if I worked at 911 and I got a bad enough call the first, 5 calls, I'd be like, y'all, this isn't for me. I'll send money or something, but I can't. This is bad stuff. I don't have the help in my heart that I thought I had. You know what I mean? Because then also you have to, you have to not be the problem. Like, there's a show called I Survived that I will watch sometimes with my girlfriend, and it's amazing how many times the 911 operator isn't just not helpful. They're actively contributing to the emergency, because then the person will call and be like, hey, there's somebody in the house. What? There's somebody in the house. You gotta get over here quick, because there's somebody in the house. It's not you? Somebody plus me. Is in the house. What room? I don't know what room. But they're not supposed to be in the house at all. Speak up, I can't hear you. Your voice. Hello. Look, don't get attitude with me. You called me, all right? Don't get an attitude with me because you called me, all right? I didn't call you going, hey, how you doing? You called over here, okay? I'm sorry. Just keep your voice down. So it must be hard. It must be hard because you're trying to help and you could be hurt. Because then also you hear stories of people who were like, yeah, I called 911, but they couldn't hear me. So then they hung up. I'm like, how do you not have the good headphones? I'm talking about every 911 operator. I don't like that little thing that Halle Berry had in the movie with the little mic and the little earpiece, and it was only on one side. No wonder they can't hear anything. I want them to have the big old cover the ear, cover half the head headphones. You know, the ones that gamers have? You hear everything. When I play games, I can hear this kid's mom's footsteps in the hallway on the way to knock the controller out of his hand. Like, you can hear everything. They got them fighting. Not enough resources, not enough people. Because honestly, it's like, look, you know, we can criticize, but it's like, I really don't want to do it. You know, like, I think if people want to get it, like, really understand, I think everybody, I believe this for a lot of jobs, but I think that everybody should have to take 2 911 calls. Just because you would be like, all right, so I let both mine die. That's my bad. I didn't know how to handle it. I panicked. I just started crying while they were talking, so I didn't take in any information or anything. That's my bad. I won't criticize as much anymore. You know, $800 for all of your shifts, just because you still get paid, and then an $800 bonus if you make it to all the shifts. I don't know. I think that maybe let's try it. Let's see. You know what I mean? I feel like, you know, I heard, okay, I did not know this person, but I heard a story one time from a friend, and when I lived in Chicago, who his cousin worked at 911, and then he called out, which I didn't even know they were allowed to do back then. I thought you had to, like, really go in every day, or they would give you a total. They'd be like, hey, listen, this is how bad the day was without you. So as an incentive to keep you coming into work, right? But basically, you know, his boy called out, and then while he called out, and then he, okay. Y'all are gonna judge me. All right. He called out, and then he got into a car accident, right? And so he wasn't driving. His friend was driving, and it was just like, it was a fender bender, but it was like a bad one. And so then he went ahead and called just in case. And then when he called, apparently they were like, 911, what's your emergency? And he was like, nigga, it's me. Must be tough. In Chicago, there's a lunch lady that was arrested for stealing $1.5 million worth of chicken wings. As soon as I read the headline, I was like, I have questions. How many is 1.5 million chicken wings? Because are we talking like the price of specials? You know what I mean? Because like if those are 50-cent wings, we're talking about millions of wings. No? Or these like the more expensive wings, like the nice wings that got some real girth to them. You know what I mean? Maybe they're $1 each, you know. $1.5 million worth of chicken wings. And this was basically during the pandemic. She was in charge of ordering the food, right? And so she would order the food, and she started ordering the food, but then ordering some wings on the side, right? Like any of us. And so she started a whole hustle with these wings, right? And she drove the cargo van, so it was the perfect crime. She's the one ordering the food, and then she's the one picking up the food. So she was ordering the cargo vans, she was using the cargo vans after ordering the food. So she was basically taking the billing, but she was keeping the meat. No one knows where the wings are. Yet another mystery, right? Because any number of things could have happened with these wings. And I want to be clear about something. The program that she's ordering the wings for is for kids who are doing remote learning but still receiving a school lunch, right? So some of those kids, there's a chance that some of those kids went hungry off of her scheme, right? Which is sad. It's terrible. And it made me wonder what made it worth it? Getting all these wings, right? Did she have a side business? Was she going up to like a wing stop? Like, hey. Anytime somebody's a criminal, they whisper in my mind, hey. You deal in wings, I deal in wings. I got some wings outside. Fell off a truck. You don't ask any questions. You make a little more money. And then Wingstop is like, no, we're not going to take your outdoor falling off of a truck wings. No, thank you. Nah, I'm good. And then she was like, okay. All right. I already have an offer at Buffalo Wild Wings. Because I'll tell you what, I have been to some wing places in my life where you eat the wings, you're like, this has been on the floor. Like, this is not good. This is no reason they charged a quarter, all right? This is bad. So maybe she was flipping them. Maybe she was going over there with cases of wings to like local restaurants, being like, hey, just go ahead, serve it to the people. They're good wings, right? If you buy wings off of her, you gotta be watching your dining room floor that night like, nobody dying. I guess it was some good wings. Okay. Really made a deal. And then I had a friend point out that perhaps, she was doing some sort of Robin Hood thing where she knows, because she's been working in the system for, about a decade, that a lot of food goes to waste. Maybe she was ordering food to give some food away, which is fine. I'd like to believe that little, like, chicken wing Robin Hood type angle. You know what I mean? Like an angle where she just is out on the corner, deep frying in real time, just like feeding the hungry. Get over here, burn your mouth on this, But even in that scenario, you had to take food from a kid who was already hungry. And one of the reasons they caught her is that when they were checking the budget, they saw that the district was $300,000 over budget. You gotta be more careful than that. Like she ordered all these wings, I guess in the period of like a few months, which is gonna be noticed, right? And one of the reasons they caught her is because the schools don't order chicken wings. Kind of almost feels like entrapment. It was even an option. Like I wonder when they saw the order if they were like, chicken wings? Okay, we'll do our best. But they don't do chicken wings at school lunches because of the bones. Yeah, because you have dumb kids that'll eat them. Like, I don't know. I'm not saying I'm brilliant, but I always knew not to eat a bone. I don't know why we coddling these children. Go ahead and, let the kids have some real flavor in their lives. We can't have flavor because this one kid gonna try to eat the whole thing. Oh, it's annoying. But it is crazy, because when you think about it, if she had just stuck to, like, chicken nuggets, she'd be running an enterprise right now. Because I'd like to believe, just me personally, that she was like a chicken wing kingpin. At 7 figures, you're doing something with those wings. See what I mean? I'd like to think that, she be showing up to the drop and everything. Looks like The Wire, but it's for chicken wings. She shows up with the wings. They don't show up with the money, And she's like, oh, you don't have the money? Okay. Grab them. And then two goons run up and grab the dude. And he's like, wait, I can pay. I swear I can pay. And then they make him put his arm in like a chicken wing. You know what I mean? And then they put his arm on the hood of the car and he had a chicken wing. He's like, no, please, don't do it, please. And then one of the goons just stomping his elbow, like just something that really hurts. They send him away. He's like, oh. Don't forget the money next time. Because when I saw her mugshot, it was crazy. Because, she's a bit older. I believe she's like 66, 68 or something like that. So it's kind of odd when you see an older person in a mugshot. Because she over here looking like Deadpool's roommate. You know what I mean? I was like, how you look like a lunch lady and guilty in the same picture? You could tell she had served some lunches too, just from the picture. The picture had a little sass to it, just a little like. You can tell that's how she be looking at kids when they ask for an extra pudding or something. Oh, that's tough though. They gave that woman 9 years.
Oh, that's amazing.
Right? 9 years. That feels disproportionate. You know what I mean? The state doesn't care that much about chicken wings. They don't even care about the kids that much. That's 9 years? Wow. People on Wall Street don't do a day. Like that's 9 years. I think that's too much. If it were up to me, I don't even know if I would have her really serve jail time. If it were up to me, it'd be probation and she has to eat $1.5 million worth of chickens. Oh, we know what you having for lunch for the rest of your life, ma'am. 6 years in, she's like, I've had every sauce there is. I can't do this anymore. Okay, I'm just going to sort of throw this out there. I love coming to Arizona. I love visiting all the different parts. I was just in Tucson and everything. I will say, though, as a state, y'all got to decide which of the restaurants are just fronts. Like, just absolutely not a business at all. I was in Tucson and we walked into a restaurant that they looked very surprised we could walk in. It seemed... We walk in and not only are there not any other customers, it's 3 people that are towards the back, towards the kitchen. Not in the kitchen, like outside the kitchen at the last booth, just counting money. If you run a business, your eyes should never be wide when you see a customer. We walk in, everybody, just looking caught. I was with Dave. Dave was like, are y'all open? And in my head, I was like, if you have to ask. And they were like, first of all, if you open, just say yes. This is crazy. They were like, yeah, sit anywhere. Why are you saying it like you just thought of that? Like, then we sit down, and one of them walks up. We never see the other 2 again.
one of them walks up, and he got one menu. And he was like, hey, yeah, I mean, get whatever you want. And then he is gone for a while. He's gone, and like, you could tell he was talking to the other ones, but so everybody whispering. But they're doing the loudest whispering I've heard in a long time. They're doing that panic whispering, because there's whispering where there's like, and then there's the whispering they were doing. It's like, wait up. And finally comes back up. He's like, hey, you decided on anything? And I was like, yeah, could we get some guacamole? And he was like, and then he left, and he was gone. He was gone for way longer than it takes to scoop guacamole. Like, I'm not complaining, I'm just noticing. I was like, all right, he already left us for quite a while after he gave us a menu, and now he's been gone for way longer. And then I see him, because in my head I'm like, oh, maybe he's making the guacamole. Maybe they're making it from scratch. Maybe it's one of those places. And sure enough, I see him walk out of the kitchen with a big old metal bowl, and you can hear him stirring the bowl and everything, stirring. And I think he's about to walk to our table, and he doesn't at all. This man walks out of the kitchen, is stirring the bowl, then walks up to the bar and grabs some salt from the bar and started shaking it in the bowl. And I was like, your kitchen doesn't have salt? Seemed like salt would be the first thing in the kitchen. The only way that could have been worse is if he had walked up to my table and grabbed the salt. Then he went back to the kitchen. I guess kept stirring. It was a while. It was one of those things where I just started contemplating about how long it really takes to make guacamole. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, would I have made it faster at home? It feels like this restaurant was such a front that when we ordered the guacamole, he went to the back and he was like, listen, I made a list. You gotta go to the grocery store right now. All right, get 2 avocados, get 1 onion, 1 tomato, a little bit of pepper. Where's the salt? And then he finally brought out the guacamole, and it was funny the way he did it, because he clearly made the guacamole, then slid it all into a cup, shook the cup real hard, and then put it down upside down, because it was like a tower of guacamole. It was an upside down cup of guacamole on the plate with the chips all around. And like, this just me noticing. I'm really not complaining, but it wasn't enough chips. It was clearly whatever chips were in the bag that was in the bag, because it wasn't the amount of chips you would need to finish this cup of guacamole stacked upside down. And the chips were interesting. They all had different consistency and everything. At a certain point, here's the thing about a chip for me. When I dip a chip in guacamole, just give it some strength. I hate to dip into guacamole and have it snap in front of me, and then I look crazy. I look like I don't know how to eat. Making me look greedy just because your chip doesn't have strong corners. So, take the chip, scoop some out, doesn't snap, already a good sign. And guacamole was actually phenomenal. It was actually really, really good. It was crazy. And so he was gone for a while, and then he comes back up like 10 minutes later. And he's like, how is it? And we were complimenting, like, this is actually really good. And we shouldn't have said actually, but under the circumstance. You know what I mean? Like, just under the circumstance, that y'all look surprised to see us. So, how are we supposed to know the guacamole would be good? You look like you didn't plan on making any today. We were like, this is actually phenomenal. This is really, really good. And he was like, thanks, man. Wow, thank you. And I was like, wait, what? Why do you seem like you really needed to hear that right now? It was crazy. It's like, yeah, man, thank you. Thank you, dog. Appreciate it. Did y'all want to order something else? I will let you know before y'all order any cooked food. Our chef did leave, all right? I don't know when he gonna be back. It's like, all right, yeah, I guess y'all are a regular restaurant. That's fair enough. There's that, and then there's, especially when we were in Tucson, it felt like everybody was kind of trying to be healthy. There was so many like salad bowl places, but then there was an ice cream store next to every salad bowl place. This is the most ice cream stores per capita. There were ice cream stores across the street from each other, like rivals. And then while we were deciding where we were going to eat, after we didn't eat, this dude was on a scooter, and he took a spill, right? He was on a scooter, and I don't know. I've never been a fan of these like bird scooters. These like, the one that you can just, as a pedestrian, hop on and ruin your life. You know what I'm talking about. The scooter that's just parked. You feel like you're stealing it. Like if it didn't take your phone to unlock it, you'd be like, this is a crime I'm doing right now. And how is it built? Remember those scooters from when we were little that just had the brake on the very end of the back wheel? It's somehow that scooter mixed with the throttle from a motorcycle. Because why'd they make them go so fast? You got people driving next to cars on the scooter or just murdering pedestrians. Because there's no tutorial. All you need is a credit card and you could just become a bullet. It's insane. There's no video to watch or anything. You just get off. I'm going to say some things that are a bit conflicting in nature, at least. Like, we saw a guy take a spill on one of these scooters, because why wouldn't you, right? And the way this man crashed didn't make any physical sense, because he definitely crashed, like went over the handlebars, right? But by the time we turned and saw him, do you remember planking? This man did a mix of planking and a stop motion music video, because he didn't just slide up to us on the ground. He really like his whole body kept trying to stop on the pavement. I know that hurt. Glasses flew off his head. Glasses weren't done flying. I don't know what I said. I was like, oh my gosh. And I don't know. I wish I was a hero. I was one of those type of people that like springs into action. That's not who I am at all. I just kept standing there like, ooh. Wow. You look hurt. It's not good at all. It's not right what I did. And I didn't mean to do anything. And I didn't do anything to help. I just, whoa. It was my buddy picked up his glasses walked up to him and was like, "Hey, are you okay?" You know. And this is the thing, as men, like just as guys, right? For real, just it's okay to be hurt. I don't just mean that in some sort of like metaphorical sense. I mean like if you get hurt, it is all right to be like, ow. Because we basically watched this man die. But then when we asked him if he was okay, after he got done sliding, and he realized we saw, but we were like, are you all right? This man in front of us just started doing push-ups. Dog, no. You're not gonna convince us that this was part of the plan. That's only a man could like do something like, only a man could like wreck a car, fly out the windshield, wrap himself around a tree, and then grab a branch and be like, one. Like, in what world? You must be out of your mind. Doing push-ups, and then my buddy walked up with his glasses and then handed him his glasses. He was about to leave his glasses. He was about to get back all this. Because here's the thing. This is one thing that I can say I relate to with my man here. When I fall, I also want to make sure that I never see the people who saw me fall again. When I fall, if I fall in front of you, it's either me or you. I gotta kill you now, and I hate that. But one of us has to go. This is too embarrassing. And so my man was about to drive off on the scooter he just fell from. I assume he needs glasses if he's wearing glasses. This man was about to get back on the scooter blind and drive off just to not be in front of us anymore. And my buddy walks up, hands his glasses back to him, and he's like, yeah, that thing got me. Just got me. My buddy was like, the curve? Yeah, it tends to do that. Like, you gotta really pick street or sidewalk. The curb is kind of the only thing keeping those two apart. And then we noticed, like, he actually, you know, from all the sliding, he actually did scrape his chin pretty hard. So his chin was bleeding. There. My buddy even said, he's like, you're bleeding, right? And then he goes, I know. No. You can't out tough blood. I was insane. But I've been having a great time in Arizona. You know? It's been very fun. Can I tell you? It has been cracking me up. Apparently, it looks like Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to step down in January, right? Look, y'all cheer, but that means there's room for somebody crazier. That's so wild. Woo! Next person shows up. You're like, oh, maybe not. Because this is my thing. It is very funny to me that it took this little resistance for Marjorie Taylor Greene to be like, you know what, I'm up out of here. I don't know. The rumor is that Marjorie Taylor Greene wanted to run for Senate, and Trump said he wouldn't support her for Senate, that he'd only support if she stayed in her House position. Now, I don't know if that's because of the fact that they need the numbers where they are, or because he doesn't believe that she could win the entire state. Whatever it is, he told her no. And and then something changed. he told her no, and then something changed between them. You know what I mean? Like she was like, I think I want to go to the Senate, and Trump said no, and then she was like, oh my God, you're in the Epstein files. Like it was like it was pretty crazy. Because she has been like. She's been attacked with all the vindictive nature of somebody who wanted something and didn't get it. You know what I mean? Because now she won't like fully come out against him and say like, oh, you are covering up, you specifically. She keeps acting confused. I don't know why. No. If you ever date anybody like Marjorie Taylor Greene, you already know the tactic. I don't know why. Isn't that weird? I think it's kind of funny how, like... Isn't that crazy that he just, like, won't release the Epstein file? Like, and I'm not even saying he did anything. I'm just saying, isn't it crazy that it kind of looks like that because he's, like, protesting too much? Nah. And then it came to a head. Then... Trump attacked her back and everything. Y'all saw. This woman's crazy. It's what a lot of people say about their exes. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah. I can't believe she's a lunatic. All this stuff. And then she was like, oh, I'm crazy. That's the thing about calling somebody crazy who might actually be crazy, is that they never take it well, but they take it better than you think they're going to take it. They have a crazy reaction to it. It's like, oh, I'm crazy. Fine. It's like, what does that mean? And then she just kept going. She just kept, beating that Epstein drum. He kept coming after her. Then he called her a traitor. Who would have thought that traitor hurt more than crazy? Do you know what I mean? This man was calling her a lunatic, called her every type of out of her name, out of your mind thing you could say about a person. And then he finally said she was a traitor, and she was like, whoa. I didn't know the gloves were off. That was crazy. Because then she had a press conference. She had a press conference. And then behind her were a bunch of Epstein survivors. Yeah, like a bunch of women who were like, no, we've publicly been calling for the release of Epstein files forever. And then Marjorie standing right in front of them, got the microphones way too high. They should have given her a stool or something. That wasn't... I don't even like her, and that wasn't fair. That was... Is she the shortest person that's ever lived? Why would they do that? That's insane that they even let the... Just one step stool would have fixed that whole situation. They let her walk up... Who knows? Maybe they tried to help her. Maybe they did. Maybe they were like, you really should, to get to the lectern, you should probably have a little steps, do something like that. She was like, now the truth will make me tall. No, I'm sure she said something like that. And then she got up there. Now she got to talk up. And the president. The president called me a traitor. Anytime you talk under the mic, you do sound like a munchkin. Like it's just like it does. The president called me a traitor. Let me tell you what a traitor is. I was really trying to take her serious the whole time. But you even saw the women behind her be like, oh. And she almost, it was a moment. Look, maybe it's wishful thinking on my part. I'm willing to admit that. But there's a moment where I could swear she almost said president. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a moment in the, she's alluding. She doesn't say it. She still doesn't quite say it. But she's over here. A traitor is is someone that sells this country out in billions of dollars to Argentina. Like, Margie, just say his name. Who else did that? Do you know what I mean? That's like when you live with a girlfriend, they're like, somebody didn't take out the trash last night. So... Well, it's only two of us here, so if you're not saying it's you, why don't you just call me out then? No, and then she said she's stepping down in January. Okay. All right. Yeah. It's weird. It's weird. It is, because it's like she did, like I will say. So I'm trying to figure out how to put this. She did undergo a lot of harsh treatment from people based on Trump attacking her. Like when Trump attacked her, a lot of like MAGA itself seemed to turn on her in a way that I'm just saying this as a spectator. Not taking any sides, I'm just saying. It does seem a little weird and unfair that you attack her now when she's like, how about we release the Epstein files? Getting all sorts of threats and everything, all sorts of attacks and stuff. And then she went on CNN, trying to, I guess, do like some sort of like image rehabilitation or something like that. She gets on there and she's like, I'm sorry for the toxic politics that I've been a part of. I'm pretty sure it was Dana Bash. Dana Bash is over here like, all right, well, I have a list to go through. We're not just gonna let you keep it vague like that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, Marjorie Taylor Greene saying, I'm sorry for like the toxic politics I've engaged in. What do you mean? That's most of what you did. Like, that would be like Jeffrey Dahmer coming out and being like, I'm sorry for the bites I took. Like, it's... Whoa, you are grossly understating your impact on the community. This is wild. You know, then she just started going down the list. Like, are you sorry for when you liked a bunch of tweets about putting people to death? And she's like, you know what? I would love to move forward. I already deleted a lot of those tweets. Yeah, no, it was wild. Yeah, it was very funny to watch to me because I was like, all right, look, maybe she's like changing, or maybe she just really wanted that Senate seat. Like maybe she's really upset that Senate seat's not going to happen, and then she's asked about that. It's like, I'm hearing that, you know, some of your break from Trump wasn't necessarily a change in ideology. It was the fact that you wanted to run for Senate and he said no. And then she was like, that's absolutely untrue. I haven't even talked to the president about that. And then she talks about how she's been getting all these threats and everything. And look, I will say, nobody should be getting like, threats online or any of that stuff. Like sometimes it happens to somebody that's not a particularly good person, so you do care a bit less. But overall, no matter who it happens to, the whole idea of being better than the idea of doing something is you actually have to be better. You know what I mean? If you're on the side that's better, you have to be better, you have to act better, and sometimes that just means like not engaging in the thing. It shouldn't be a race to the bottom. And it is wild that people talk about like a violent, radical left all the time, but somebody just sort of like sick the right on Marjorie Taylor Greene, and she was like, yeah, I think I'm good. I don't know. These people have guns. And it does just blow my mind. That like really took me aback. The irony there. You know? Like okay. I didn't know this dude personally, but there was the story that I was told when I was living in Chicago about this dude that basically, all right, it should make me laugh because I'm glad it happened to me. But there was a guy in Chicago. I used to live in Rogers Park, and there was a dude apparently in like Edgewater area, which is a little bit south of where I lived, that he would rob people, right? And the way he robbed people is he just had like 3 rocks and a sock, and he would just and it is, I don't know, it's like, that's terrifying. That's just, I don't know, I'm not saying a gun would be better, but a gun would be conventional. You know, like, is an upsetting idea that you could be robbed in a sort of David Goliath type situation. You know? Nobody prepares for that. Like, you know what I mean? If somebody has a knife, you like, no, okay, they mean business, right? If somebody got 3 rocks and a sock, you like, are they serious? And so he would rob people, right? And he did this like off and on in the area for like a month and a half. Like people would just talk about it. I used to work at a grocery store that was like in that area, so people would just be talking about it at work and everything. And then finally, there was one day he tried to rob somebody. His rocks in his sock. But they had a shovel. Apparently they hit him with a shovel and took 5 wallets off of him. That's a version of what Marjorie Taylor Greene must be going through. You know what I mean? It's like, she did all this stuff for so long, and now finally she the one getting threats, and she's like, these people are crazy. It was really upsetting stuff. I don't know. Yeah, I don't even know where she'll go after this. Because a lot of people move from government to like the private sector. They do a lot of speaking engagements and stuff like that. They do a lot of, I don't know. I really don't. Yeah, I mean, who's gonna hire Marjorie Taylor Greene for a speaking engagement? I mean, I'm sure there's organizations out there that are like, yeah, go up there and tell them how everybody's a lizard. Go ahead.
Well, you have to understand about the lizard people that they have and wear skin just like ours. They walk amongst us.
No, I've been trying my best to improve. You know, I've been trying to like work out and stuff. I feel like some of my friends that have worked out have seen progress, and I was like, I would like some progress. So I started working out, but nobody tells you, man. Nobody tells you that working out should be something I do more often or not at all. Like it's crazy because you'll want to. I used to want to get big. I used to want to be like a big. Every year I have hope. Hope is a hell of a drug. Every year I got hope I'm gonna turn it all around this year. You know, and it's like I'm gonna be like a bigger dude. And it's not, I don't know. I'm not saying it's not gonna happen, so I'm gonna stop trying. I'm saying it's not gonna happen, and then I have to accept that I'm done growing. So whatever I do from here on out is just gonna be more horizontal than vertical. You know? So it's like, even if I got big now, that'd be bad. I didn't get tall. I'm not tall. So then I would just be wide. So then and a wide, muscular guy is on no one's list. There's no one that's I can't wait to get to that stout, fit man. I love that build of the guy who looked like he worked out for the circus. I love that. It's never been said by anybody. Because you wouldn't even, if you got really fit, but you were like, still, I don't know, like regular height to short. It is funny when you're regular height. Like apparently I'm regular height. I didn't even check. Somebody just told me that. But they were told. They did tell me that when I was having a bad day. So it might not even be true. Like it's. I wasn't even bummed out about my height. I was having a bad day. They were like, "You regular height?" And I was like, "That's a weird thing to bring up." But there's no way, it just, as a man, there's no way to be regular height. You're short. Because when you even say I'm regular height, that's a short thing to say. Do you know how little you look screaming I'm regular? You look like you lost 6 inches right there. Standing up with your back, because you got your back straight so that you get all your height credit. You know what I mean? You got your back. Are you mad too? Anytime you get mad, but you gotta look up a little, it makes you look shorter than you are too. Like, tall men may always seem like a threat, but at least people take them seriously when they're angry, you know? Like, if you regular height and you get mad and you're like, I'm regular. No, you're a little guy now, you know? And so I've been working out, but it's like, I don't know, nothing's happening. Nothing's happening, you know? Like, you be like, oh, yeah, I'll even see other people's transformation video where they're like, I worked out for 8 months and look at me now and look at me then. And it's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, let's try that. And then you go to the gym and it just hurt. They leave that out, that is gonna just hurt the whole time. Everything you want to do hurt. Like, you want big arms, you're gonna have to hurt your arms for a while. You basically gonna have to hurt your arms 3 times a week and make sure you eat enough steak but don't have a heart attack. It was crazy. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, get all your protein in. It's like, all right, but what if I'm ready to throw up? Like, I can only eat so much. I'm regular height. You can't fit all the food in you need to be bigger. If you want to be bigger with muscle, you could be bigger just in general. You could just start with Oreos and never stop, and then I could be a bigger man that way. Yes, but I was trying to do it like that back of the arm muscle. You know that one that like flexes when you point? Just try and get one of those. I mean, hopefully two. You would hate to just have one. Be terrible. Be terrible. You out here working your hardest too. Just working, doing pull-ups and pushes. We gotta figure out which one of these exercises work. You know what I mean? Some of them are like functional. Like I understand a deadlift to me makes sense because it's picking up the heavy. That's the dumbest way I could have said it, but it's true. A deadlift is just you pick up heavy. And then if you pick up heavy, strong. This must have been how the cavemen said it. You know what I mean? This must have been how, like, when they were first inventing working out, when they were like, oh, your life isn't that hard, so you're not as strong as us, so if you want to get as strong as us, you have to simulate it. They didn't say simulate, that word wasn't invented yet, but like, you have to simulate it by doing as much work as we do, but just doing it in like little intervals. They wouldn't have said intervals either, but they were just like, pick up big, then strong, right? And then somebody picked it up. Again, and they picked it up again. And then they picked it up to the point where it was easy. And it was like, all right, you're strong now. That is strong, And it's always nice, especially if you're regular height, to be strong. Because nobody expects it. I don't know what it is we do. I don't know why we do this. But there is a certain amount of help needed on the shelf, we assume that person also can't pick up stuff. Because they made, I don't know why they did this, by the way, but they made a shelf at the grocery store that is one finger higher than regular height. It's one, because you can touch it. This is extra embarrassing. When you can touch, and now you gotta strategically finger a cereal box. And because you try to use your two fingers. You try to use your two fingers to like clamp the sides and pull. And then pull back, right? But if you can't clamp it, you have to try to slide it and then knock it over on your own head. The amount of times I've knocked a box into my own face, and now somebody turned the corner, I'm standing at the grocery store holding my eye, acting like I'm not hurt. Caught a corner in the eye. Corner of a cereal box. I don't know, why would they do that? It's crazy. Why would you do that? No one likes it. Just stop using that shelf. Put an ad on that shelf. I'll look up. Stop doing that, because then it puts us both in a terrible position. Puts us both in a very bad position, because now I gotta ask a tall man for help. I'd rather die. Now I gotta ask a tall man to help me like I'm his child. I don't know him. And then he gotta help me or else he evil. I do have a tall friend who gets asked all the time for stuff like that, and he doesn't do it at all. And I'm like, you know how many people just wish a death on you? Like, do you know how many people you over here walking down the aisle, and there's just little people. Can you get the pickles? And then you over here, nah, I'm good. Like, that's a crazy thing. It's your day. You should be able to do what you want with your day, but that is a crazy way to respond. Somebody needs help because the grocery store ran out of space, I guess, so they had to build up. So they made a skyscraper shelf that nobody can reach up, so that you reach up as hard as you can, and you over here. Trying to caress this jar of pickles so you can hopefully catch some glass in the face. It is terrible. One time, okay, this is really bad. I was furious. There was this one time I was at a grocery store and I just needed some taco seasoning, right? And they put it on the highest shelf in the spice aisle. It's over here. And this was one of those ones where they sell the packets, all the packets individually, but they sell it as an individual thing, even though the box comes with all the packets in it. So then the people that work at the grocery store, I know because I used to do this when I worked at the grocery store, they rip the top of the box and then all of the packets are just in there, right? And so it's at the top of the shelf because somebody is Satan. And so then they put this one in the top. And so I'm reaching up and I'm trying to, the only thing I can think to do is just go ahead and try to get my finger in the box so I can slide the whole thing out, grab one, and then put it back, right? And so I pull the whole thing down. The whole thing starts coming down. I get ready to catch it with my hand, but I guess one of these packets was defective because it was at least like halfway open. So as I look up and I get seasoned in the eyes. The ingredients of some of this taco seasoning is heinous. This is cayenne pepper. This is paprika. This is everything red. Everything red and dry is in the packet. So that I catch seasoning in the eyes, I start screaming, right? Look at that. Look at what y'all done. Now, because y'all wanted this extra shelf, I'm screaming in the spice aisle. Begging for help. No, because now tall person walk by. I hate when somebody tall offer me help too. Get away from me. I'm doing it, all right? Especially, nothing get me like when I almost got it. Edge is about to slide off the top of the shelf. I almost got it. And then walk up, do you need help? Where were you 45 seconds ago? Now you want to help now that all the work's been done. I don't actually hate tall men. I'm like mostly joking. I am. I do have a friend. He's 6'3", and one time he was crying, and I didn't feel bad for him. Yeah, I mean, I was like, come on, man. What are you so bummed out about? You know what I mean? So sad. Ooh. Because he also cried tall. You know what I mean? Yeah, I was like, he was. And has a deeper register because of, out here crying like he at the top of a beanstalk or something. What are you crying for? Just stand up. Like, as soon as you stand up, be like, oh yeah. No, I understand. I'm clearly joking. Tall people do have problems. Like door frames. Right before the pandemic, I got real fit. That was the fittest I'd ever been in my life. Like, I was running, and it wasn't even an emergency. There's only two reasons to run, from or to. No, but I was running. Because when I started running, I wasn't good at running at all. And I don't mean that I fell. I could run, like I was running. But I wasn't a good runner in that when I would run for exercise, like let's say I was just out having a run, it did look like an emergency to the people who were witnessing me run. Like, they weren't like, he is jogging. They were like, uh-oh. Like, because I don't run well. I run like it's the start of the disaster movie. I run like I found out about the zombies first. And I left everybody and just let them, like the first zombie bit somebody and I was like, okay. And I dipped out. Because the way that I start running is not good. Like the way, so, because when I start running, because it feels dumb to start running at all. Do you know what I mean? When you're already running, especially if you're like, if you're fit or if you're just like a general, like hot person, or if you got a good stride, running looks good on you. You know, you see people, like when people run the marathon and they're doing that like kick as they run, you know, that like what is that? I've never seen somebody run so efficiently, you know? But to start running, and it's not a race. You're just running because you wanted to. This is your workout. And you decide you're going to run today. And, you know, you don't want to start running like it's actual. You don't want to bend down. That seems very dumb. So the way that I start running, it just doesn't look good. It's like I start running like I just started running. Like it looks bad when you see it. It doesn't help that I look behind me. Yeah, I just start running. There was one time I was running for a workout, and I had been running all week, so I had been doing a couple miles all week. So by this like 5th, 6th day, I was actually super comfortable with running. I didn't feel as dumb doing it because I had been doing it for so long. I was like, I'm getting there. I get a couple miles in every day, get home, I've worked out. This is great, right? And then I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? Now that I've built up a sort of tolerance around getting started, I got my confidence up, I'm going to try to run faster and a little further than I have the other days. I think this is how people get fit. And so I take off, right? And I take off exactly like we talked about. This is still how I start running. Right? But I take off running, and as I take off running, I start like kicking, you know, trying to do the like stride kick I see the runners do in the marathon or in like clips on Instagram, stuff like that. I'm really trying to run. And then I'm picking up speed because I'm like, look, I can stop running whenever I want. So I might as well run as hard as I can, right? And so I was running. Then I noticed this guy behind me, and it was like he was running the same way that I was running. So I was like, oh, I wonder if that Forrest Gump thing is happening. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wonder if I'm oozing so much confidence, I hadn't got a follower. And so then I start running a little harder, and then he's also running behind me a little bit harder, and we're both running in a way that like we're running together, but we're still decently apart and everything. And finally, I'm starting to get a little tired. I'm like, okay, I mean, I don't want to let him down, but I do want to stop now. Like, I'm not built for the Forrest Gump thing at all. Like, I don't think I could run long enough to start an entire run club or anything like that. I really didn't even want to do 2 miles, but I keep running, and now I'm like panting, but now I'm really pushing. And then they talk about hitting a wall and like a runner's high and stuff like that. I didn't feel any of that. It was all pain. It was all just like, I got that stitch in my side, you know, like where your side starts to stab you because it's like, what are you doing? Why are you running, stupid? We're not meant to run. Sit down. And so then my side starts hurting, but then I'm holding my side as I'm running, which then looks really bad. Like if it looked bad when I start running, seeing me run, And then I finally slow down enough that this guy catches up to me. And I'm winded, and he's winded too. I'm like, oh, okay, so he's just like me. We're both getting started running. This is amazing. I've made a friend. Running. This I've all said in my head. I'm too winded to speak. But I'm like doubled over. He's doubled over. And then finally he says something. He's like, what was it? I was like, what was what? He was like, what did you see? What do you mean? He's like, I saw you and I thought something bad must have happened. You know who works out hard? Marjorie Taylor Greene. I think that makes her even scarier because it's like, usually when you meet somebody who believes a bunch of conspiracy theories, they've been like, you know what I mean? Separated from society and in a basement for too long. You never meet anybody strong who's like, hey, have you heard about the lizard people? Okay, all right. This is very uncomfortable because you could also kill me. Like, there's a young woman named Riley Gaines, right? And Riley Gaines is famous because she was a swimmer, and basically in, I guess, the biggest competition of her life, she placed fifth, and a trans woman placed fourth. And so she's like, oh, if that athlete was not in the race, I would have qualified and gone on to the next stage. And that's like the hill she's dying on. That's like that like started her political career, and then that's why she gets invited to all these speaking engagements. And it is wild to me that you would tell so many people you were never going to win. Like that's crazy. Because here's the thing. Fifth means you weren't close. Fifth is crazy. Like that's, you know what I mean? You don't even have a silver medal type of bone to pick. It's like they don't make podiums for where you were gonna place. Even if this person was not in your way, all right, you still can't swim as good as other people. Like, to be fair, look, I can't swim at all. I'm not a swimmer, right? I'm not a swimmer at all. I'm trying to learn, but it feels like I'm fighting the water when I'm in there. But I don't broadcast it. You know what I mean? I'm telling you right now, for the sake of the conversation that we're having, that I can't swim. But I don't do speaking engagements where I'm like, I can't even swim that well. Pay me. Pay me money because I came in fifth, which is not close to first. Man. It's like, and just, I don't know, it's like, because there's a very there's a very hateful approach to a lot of the things that she says. And it's like, but you, in theory, wouldn't you be thanking this person? Because this person, that's the reason that you say you came in fifth. If they weren't there, you would have come in fourth. And then you just wouldn't be that great of a swimmer. You'd have nothing to talk about. This person gave you a career. Now you can travel the country being like, I can't believe I came in fifth because of this trans person. This trans person is why I came in fifth. Because no one would give you money for a speaking engagement if you were like, I came in fourth against all these cis women. What's someone gonna do about that? Just throwing it out there. Oh, you weren't close. Fifth is, like, look, I'm not saying fifth is bad. I would have come in last. But fifth is not close to, there's several people. There's several people between you and winning. A substantial amount of people. There were enough people in between you and winning to pull you out of the water if you were drowning. Like, that's a crazy amount of distance between you and number one. That's just a fact. It's a fact that you admit when you do speaking engagements where you're like, oh, I was so close to kind of qualifying. And that's just because they take the top 4. If they decide to take the top 3, you'd be even further from. I don't know. It's a lot of money to make to be a failure. Like, your whole thing is swimming. Your whole thing is swimming, and you didn't do it. Like, you swam, like you didn't drown, but like you. It just feels like that's what a lot of this stuff is, you know? It's a lot of an attachment to someone to blame for something you were never going to get anyway. You know? Like, that's what a lot of it is. It's like sometimes I'll see people, even with the idea of like taking jobs, right? Oh, they're coming to this country, they're taking the jobs. And it's like, yeah, okay. They're taking the jobs. What do you do? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's weird when it's like an assistant manager at like a Wendy's being like, they're taking the jobs. It's like, yeah, but not this job. Like, what's... Like, some of the people that are so mad, I'm like, yes, but they are not in between you and the thing that you want. The person in between you and the thing that you want is the person who already has it. Is someone doing better than you? Is someone doing better than you that has it? So if you wanted a better job, the person that you should be mad at is the person that gives out the better jobs. The person who is willing to do any job is doing worse than you. It's weird to blame them when they don't affect you at all. Not like that. So then the person you should be mad at is the person who is keeping, and they planned it. They planned this whole thing. They made it so that you would blame this person, because when you do, you're not looking up at who's holding up all the stuff over your head. You should be mad at them up here the way that you would get mad at like a tall person walking up to you as you're like trying so hard. You're trying to pinch as hard as you can, like just a better job, just more opportunity. And they're like, hey, you want some help? Do you feel like some help? No. How are you going to get mad at somebody doing worse than you? No, they're not keeping you from anything, you know? It's like getting mad at the bottom shelf because you couldn't reach the top. I mean, it's like... It's like getting mad that you're in 5th place when you were never going to be first. I just can't get over that. Because I remember the first time I heard about Riley Gaines, and I genuinely, what I thought happened was that she was second. And then a trans athlete came in first, and she was like, oh, you stole from me. You know what I mean? And then when I heard that they don't even make a type of medal for the position she came in, it goes gold, silver, bronze. I guess you could give fourth place like aluminum or something, and then you could give fifth place like wood, maybe. You got the wooden medal in swimming. You got the waterlogged medal in swimming. Yeah. No, it blows my mind. It just feels like so much of what politics is based off of is that thing. You are keeping me from what I want. I want this. You are the reason that I'm not getting it. Not the politician. Not the person who like signs bills into law. It's just like this person over there, somehow more powerful than the person who had to be sworn in and get all these votes and have all this money and has donors and has people who call them that they better pick up the phone for. You know, that person not as powerful as random person from another country. You know, because it's not just about immigrants. It's everybody. It's every type of other, and it's every type of other until there is no other. Because then you'll see it sometimes happen. It does happen on like a final phase level to white women the most. Like hardcore conservative white women who are in the room helping make decisions and everything. There will eventually be a thing where, for whatever reason, you're around a bunch of other conservative men, and then they want you out of the room. There's only so many spots, and you can't take up a spot. You're not really one of us. You're an other. You're like, no, but I'm not an other. It's like, you are. No, you are. You are. And you'll know it at like the worst time. It'll be like when you finally want something. You've done everything that you're supposed to do. You voted the right way. You said all the right things. You hold all the right beliefs. You do everything that you're told to do, from whether it's from a young age you grew up in a conservative family, or you have these conservative values, and you're doing everything that you're supposed to do. You're doing everything towards the sort of life and country that you want, and then you finally want something. But maybe you want something that's a little bit out of your place to have. You know, maybe you want to step into a position that other people don't want to see you in, right? Maybe you want to be like a senator, and right now you're a House rep, and so then they tell you no. I know you've campaigned for me. I know you've spent millions of your own money trying to help me. I know that you've had my back every step of the way, but like, no, come on, no. And maybe it's not because you're a woman. Maybe it's because you're out of your mind. But like no, just no. And do with that what you will. And then she's like, oh my God, you're in the Epstein files. No, I can't believe it. Oh my God. Oh, Phoenix, y'all been phenomenal. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Wow. Thank you so much for having me. This is so cool. I am happy to spend the 4th of July with you. Maybe you're not aware of some of our customs on the 4th of July. One of them that sticks out is a hot dog eating contest. And I've been traveling the world, and a lot of people think that they know what a hot dog is. They even think that they have their own version of a hot dog. And as I've traveled
the world, I can honestly say that no, you don't. Because you all here, I'm not going to pronounce it correctly, but you have bratwurst. That's not hot dog at all. That's good. You have to understand, to make a hot dog, like bratwurst is beef or veal. It's a meat with herbs and spices in it, cooked well. A hot dog, especially in America, a hot dog is something that to make you first have to find. And when I say find, I mean like putting together a proper hot dog in its casing and to serve is a lot like a witch's spell. You have to find meat that's first on the floor. It's very important this meat is on the floor. If the meat is not on the floor, you might not be making a hot dog. You have to find this meat that's on the floor. You have to couple it all together. You have to push it through this machine. And bratwurst, once again, beef, veal, you can only hold together a proper hot dog with hate and like a touch, like a dash, just a little bit of poverty, right? So you have some hate, you have, you can get a side of anger in there too. And then you put it together into a hot dog, you wrap it up nicely so it looks like it might be edible. Because I don't know if you've had a hot dog. In order to prepare a hot dog, it's not like preparing a bratwurst. You have to boil a hot dog. And in order to boil the hot dog, it means you do have to ruin some water. You put the hot dog in the water, you boil it up, that cooks the hot dog. Cooks is a strong word. What are you cooking? It's demon meat. But you boil the hot dog up, so then you pull it out, that's cooked. You then put it in a bun to cover up that you're eating a hot dog. The water you have to dispose of like toxic waste. A lot of people will pour this down the sink. Don't do that. Don't get that mixed in with the regular. When I was little, I had a friend who his mom had a flower garden, and he'd make hot dogs after school, and then he'd pour the water in the hot dog garden, and all of the flowers died. Because that is runoff poison water. But yeah, you boil a hot dog, and then you eat it. And when you eat it, you're supposed to close your eyes and pretend you're chewing something else. Because this is going to be nasty. You can try to dress it up with mustard, ketchup, with mayo relish, with whatever manner of things people do. Some people will act really, really holier than thou about how they prepare their hot dog, as if a hot dog is not a mystery of meat mushed together. I say all that because on the 4th of July, there is a hot dog eating contest that takes place. And the winner this year, once again, is a man named Joey Chestnut. And this year, he ate 70 hot dogs in 10 minutes, which is the correct response. You know how I said that when you felt physically ill? That's how you're supposed to feel on the 4th of July after eating as many hot dogs as possible. I believe the record is 76 hot dogs. And I remember one time my buddy entered a hot dog eating contest, and he was super excited about it. And he had watched Kobayashi, he had watched Joey Chestnut, and he thought he could do it too. He was like, if they can do it, I can do it. Let's give it a try, right? And so he entered the hot dog eating contest, and it wasn't like the official Nathan's hot dog. It was just like a local one that was happening on 4th of July. And he entered the contest, sat down with the other contestants, and then over the course of 10 minutes, my friend ate 2. This man ate 2 hot dogs in 10 minutes. We were watching it like, when is he gonna kick into gear? Like, when is it? There are other people that are literally like swallowing hot dogs like, as fast as possible. There was one dude that was this was incredible. He was screaming hot dogs down, right? He was like, oh! Meanwhile, our buddy, two hot dogs in 10 minutes. We went from cheering to booing. We started out supportive initially. We were like, yeah, get him, you can do it. And then, when it was clear he couldn't, we were like, stop, you wasting a hot dog. When he got done, we asked him, hey, what happened? We drove you here. You the one wanted to go way out the way to enter this contest to waste everybody's time. 2 hot dogs in 10 minutes is not a contest, that's a meal. What's wrong with you? And he was like, I panicked. What are you panicking about? He's like, I saw everybody else do it, and they were so fast. I was like, how are they not choking? And then I remembered I might choke. So then I started chewing extra. I was scared to choke. I was like, if you had at least choked, then 2 hot dogs in 10 minutes would be more reasonable. You got people over here fighting to get hot dogs now. He over here chewing responsibly. I do my best when I go anywhere to be as good of a guest as I can. You know, it means a lot to me to have me over here and for me to be your guest for a little while. I've been looking forward to this trip for a long time, and I'm always a little tense when I'm a guest, though. You know, even if it's just visiting a friend's house, you want to be a good guest. You don't want to leave and then have them be like, oh, never again. You know, like I get nervous to be seen as a bad guest. I don't want anything to go wrong. Like I've had to stay over, you know, for a couple nights at friends' houses, and they're like, "Oh, make yourself at home. What's mine is yours." I feel like that's a trap. You know, because you really make yourself at home and then you find out how much they mean it later. It's like, I'd rather just act like I shouldn't be in here at all. Quiet as a mouse, you know. I'll just act like I broke in and just try to affect as little as possible in the home. And they'll be like, what? He's such a good guest. We didn't even know he was here. One time I got so stressed out about being a guest at my friend's house while they were out of town that I just never went. And they were like, Josh, our apartment looks amazing. Did you do all this cleaning before you left? I was like, yep, you know it. Wanted to leave it better than I found it, you know. Because even being the guest at a party, that's like a short-term guest. When you're just there for the party, you're just there for, a few hours, maybe half the day if it goes long. And I'm terrified to be a bad guest there. I just don't want to be remembered in a bad light. And there was this one time where I went to a friend's party, and I'm not great at parties to begin with. You know, I'm very much in the corner, or if I know one person at the party, that will be the person that I'm talking to the entire party. Like it will be a burden on them. Sometimes I see a friend that I know at a party and no one else, and I'm like, ooh, you about to have a bad time at this party. I hate that for you. I'm very sorry. But it's either talk to you or talk to a stranger, and come on. And so, I was at this party, and my friend who actually invited me to the party was late. We were supposed to meet up together, and I misunderstood the text message. I thought they were already in there. So I knock on the door. I meet the host. I tell him, oh, I'm friends with, and then he lets me in, which is a huge mistake. Because now I'm just sort of standing awkwardly while other people have a great time. And so I was like, you know what? You know what I'm gonna do? This is the fail safe. Every time you need a break from social interaction, or you just need to get your bearings together because you're in a public place and you're sort of freaking out, you go to the bathroom. The bathroom is the safe haven, right? And so I walk to the bathroom, I close the door behind me, and it's a little dim in the bathroom, but I use the bathroom, right? Other reason to go. And as I'm stepping away from the toilet, I hear this little crunch, like under my feet, and I look at it, and it's all of this glass under my feet, and it looks like the actual light bulb either popped or broke or something, and then now I've stepped in it. And as I really start to look around the bathroom, I realized that it is an absolute disaster in there. It is horrifically bad. So the bathroom mirror is smashed. I didn't notice it at first when I walked in, and the glass is in the sink, and there's a little bit of blood in the sink, right? And so I'm standing there, and I look over at the tub, and the shower curtain is pulled back, and there's a fur coat in the tub. And I'm like, all these things are too much for one thing. You know what I mean? Like this would be a shutting the bathroom down for a short period of time at the party if just one of them happened, and all of them are happening right now. And so I'm like, I don't know what to do. I flush. That's as much as I can clean up right now. And then I'm a bit panicked, so I get ready to just get out of the bathroom, because if I can get out scot-free, if no one sees me come out of the bathroom, someone else can address this thing, because I don't know anyone here. My only friend is late, and the host has just seen me once. So I get ready to, I don't even, admittedly, this is gross, sorry, but I wasn't even going to wash my hands, because I was like, there's a whole bunch of blood in there anyway. They'd be dirtier than when they were unwashed. And so I get ready to pull on the doorknob, and I hear a knock. And I can't open the door. There's no way I could open the door and be like, all yours. You know? It's crazy in there. And so I hear the knock, and I think to myself,
oh no. There's no way. First of all, if you need to go to the bathroom, the last thing you want is for someone to open the door and be like, all right, before you get in there. I just want you to know none of this is my fault, okay? Before you walk in with judgment, just know anything can happen to anybody at any point. Like, if you had been a little quicker with your feet, this would have been you, okay? I don't know what to do as I'm just standing there. And I'm admittedly standing there for like way too long. Like, and I hear a knock again. And I'm like, all right, I gotta do something. I gotta buy myself some time. And so I just say, 1 second. That's bought me 1 second. I have to use it wisely. And in my head, I'm thinking like, okay, I could try to clean up. I'm over here in my head freaking out because this is my worst nightmare. I'm going to look like a terrible guest. I'm at a party where I don't know anybody, and I'm going to look like I destroyed this bathroom. And so I'm Googling all types of stuff. I'm over here Googling, does glass flush? Like, does glass flush? How fast can you get blood out of the sink? If you were to look at my Google search history on this night, it would look like I definitely killed someone. Or at least a small animal. Because I was also Googling, like, does fur disintegrate? Like, and so I just spent another minute and a half sweating and freaking out. And then I hear a knock. But this knock is like thicker. It's just like strong. It's clearly a different knock. It's clearly a different person. And that person is like, hey, come on, people waiting. I'm like, people? People are waiting. Okay, all right. People implies more than one person, which does imply, plural. And plural could just be two. It could just be the initial guy that knocked and is very patient, or maybe left. Who knows? Maybe he had to use the bathroom so bad that he left the party completely. But this person is adamant. Hey, I got to get in there, right? And he said, people are waiting. And so in my head, I'm like, okay, 2 people are waiting. And then he yells out, you got a line out here. What's happening in there? And I looked down at my phone, and I had been in the bathroom for like 15 minutes. Like I had let this go way too far. And so I froze. I didn't know what to do at all. It's like your absolute worst nightmare as a person that's like gets weird in like social interactions. To actually have this weird thing happen to you is like, I think maybe this is hell. I think maybe I've died. And so I'm pacing back and forth in the bathroom, which is only breaking more light bulb glass. And I finally look out of the little window, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to leave. Like I'm gonna have to jump out of the window. And in my like panic, I forgot that we were on the first floor. So it wasn't like a big jump or anything, but I did have to climb out of a window that wasn't man-sized. Luckily, neither am I.
I was squeezing my hips at like an angle, like I put my hips like diagonal to the edges of the window to get as much space as possible, and I wiggled out. I fell out of the window, and I tried as much as I could to like pull the window back up from outside so that people wouldn't be like, oh, whoever it was went out the window. And then I was like, what do I do though? What if someone saw me go in, remembers me perfectly even though they don't know me, and could point me out, you know, because I wear the same thing every day. And so I'm like, the only option I have is to go back in. Is to go back in and join the line for the bathroom. And so I walk around the house and I'm thinking to myself, okay, all I gotta do is watch out for the host. His host was greeting me when I first walked in. As long as the host has like got to that point in the party where they're not greeting everybody and they're not answering the door every time, I should be good. And so I wait, some other people were arriving and they knock on the door. Someone else opens the door. I'm like, this is my chance. I sneak in behind those two other people and I immediately walk to the line for the bathroom. And luckily, my buddy who was late was in the back of the line. And he's like, can you just believe this? No, I do my best to be like a good house guest, you know, and especially when I travel. Because when I travel, I have to do it as an American. I have to travel as an American now. You know? And it's like I'm traveling more than I ever have in my life, experiencing new places for the first time. But one thing that I will say is, okay, there used to be a time where you would travel when you were from the U.S. You would go to other places and you would say that you were from the U.S. and people, there was a shine to it. There genuinely was like this like magnificent shine around you and your passport. People had questions for you. You know, you would say you were from the U.S. and they'd be like, oh, blue jeans. Wow. And then over time, the shine started to wear off a little bit, you know, like the way that we were perceived on the world stage started to change, and you would tell people that you were from the U.S. and they'd be like, oh yes, yeah, Beyonce. And now, you travel the world, and look, people ask me. I don't go around telling everyone my business all the time. People ask me, hell, where are you from? And I go, oh, it's... you know, it's American. And they're like, what? What? I didn't hear. Oh, you know, it's United States. What? I'm American. I'm from the U.S. From America. And I've traveled in these past 2 weeks to Paris, Dublin, Brussels, Antwerp, now here. And there is a similarity. This happened more in Brussels and Antwerp than anywhere else, but it has also happened here where people will ask me where I'm visiting from, and then I will tell them. And there's a look and a noise you make that's genuinely offensive. Like it is. Once again, you asked me. I didn't say anything. I walk into the shop. Y'all are the ones, asking questions and stuff. And I say that I'm from the U.S. I'm visiting from America. And then you go, oh. You get the face or you get the noise. You don't get both. Oh. I grew up in Louisiana, all right? And when I was, sure. And when I was in Louisiana, I have friends who live in all different parts of the state. And one of my friends, he actually lives he's in a rural area. He's in some swamp area near the bayou and everything. There's a bunch of things floating in the water, a bunch of predators out there. He does his hunting. He comes back home. That's mainly how he sustains himself and everything. And there was one time he was having a barbecue. A bunch of friends came over, and one of his buddies, his buddy Spence, came over and was having a cigarette off by himself. He walked off away from the barbecue to have his cigarette, and then sometime later, he comes back over, and in the back door, the way that a lot of the houses are built in Louisiana is you have your door and you have your screen door, and the screen door can keep out the bugs while also letting air flow into the home and everything. And so he pops his head near the screen door, and his head only. And Spence leans in and he says, "Hey, can you call an ambulance?" And our friend is like, "What? Why?" If anyone ever asks you to call an ambulance, just do it right away. I'm sure that they have a good reason. I'm sure they're not just getting you to do it for fun because they want to hear the siren. I think that they probably need some help. And so he's like, if you could just call him, that'd be great. Can you please just call him? And he's being very calm. And so our friend walks up and pokes his head out of the screen door, and he sees that Spence, though calm, is standing there, and there is a baby alligator around his foot. And that's the way you look at me when I tell you that I'm from the U.S. Now, coming here at a time where tourism in the U.S. is way down. Yeah, people aren't coming to visit as often. It's like if people used to love to come visit all the time, and then something happened. It'd be like if you went over to your friend's house all the time growing up, and then one day you stopped going, and your friend was like, "Why? Why wouldn't you just come over like you used to? Come hang out." And you're like, "Oh, well, last time I was there, your dad threw a plate at my head, so I think I'm good coming over for a while." And so tourism is down in the U.S. People are choosing other places to go, and one of the main places that they're choosing to come is to Europe. It's all these places, some people will come to Berlin. A lot of it is happening in Spain with Barcelona and Madrid, in Italy, in Paris as well. And it's getting to the point where there's so much
tourism. People are actually calling it like over tourism. You know, and this is happening at the same time as like massive heat waves, and like wild heat waves, some of which we've never seen before. It's never been as hot as it is now. It's very hot. Luckily, not here today. But this week you had, one of your hottest days on record. I can't even imagine what that must have been like, because you all are like fit people. Like, you get on bikes to go you have to understand, my frame of reference is the US. So the fact that you're even walking next to a bike is leaps and bounds. I can't imagine trying to ride a bike in that heat, or running. Some of you run. And so that's wild that this level of like over tourism is happening at the same time as this heat wave. And there are people in Paris, there are people in Spain and Italy that have had enough. They're losing it over this. They're protesting the tourists. They're over here being like, stop it. Stop coming here right now. Talk amongst yourselves and spread it out throughout the year or something. But this is too much. You have places like, I could be wrong about these numbers, but I think in Barcelona, you have like 1.6 million people living there, but like 26 million people visit throughout the year. That's wild. I understand that if you live in Barcelona and you're trying to ride your bike, eventually you're like, get out of the way! And then if you live in Barcelona, you're tired of all these tours everywhere all the time, and you start freaking out. You might get a reputation for being a little bit rude to tourists, and then you'll be New York. But people are doing the best they can to protest. There's been all these different types. People get creative and stuff. There's one where they were shooting tourists with water guns throughout the day. Get out of here! Ah! Like when a dog tries to pee on the carpet. You know what I mean? Although as far as protests go, you can tell that these are like good people doing the protesting, because that's what you came with, water guns. Water gun. I don't know. I'm coming from the U.S. where it would have just been guns. Like this. You can tell these are people who have a deep moral core, because you used water guns to protest tourists during a heat wave. They probably didn't even understand what was happening. You know what I mean? They were probably over here like, oh, the Spanish are so hospitable. They saw how hot we were. Then some strangers we didn't even know were like, cooling us off. And I get the genuine frustration though, but this is the main problem, is that whether it's business or whether it's government, systems have a magnificent way of pitting us against each other. Like, there are people that are local that are upset because obviously with all this tourism, Airbnbs are shooting up. Airbnbs raise the price of living in the area, so then people are getting priced out of their homes. They're getting priced out of the areas that they grew up in. They have to find somewhere else to live, all for people who don't live here, who are just coming to peak, and then they head home. And that can be incredibly frustrating, but that's the people who are coming to visit didn't come up with a master plan. Airbnb and the government that allows Airbnb to run rampant are the people to blame. You should be taking, like, if you're going to take anger out on anybody. It should be the local government and the Airbnb that allows it to run rampant. You should be using the water guns on the computers at the. You know, because I think that that's the main way that systems get to stay intact. They see this. Airbnb sees it, and local government sees it, and they're like, well, we get to rake in money while the people that live here blame somebody else. Why would we ever change our practices? You know, and I don't really know what the exact fix is. You know, I remember when Airbnb was like at your house. There was a time early in Airbnb's history where you were just renting a room in someone's house, and so they lived there, and then they collected the money from you staying with them like a little mini hotel. But that was like easier because then they lived here, so they cared about the home, they cared about the community, and you got to get a taste of like local life. And you could even ask them, hey, is there anywhere I should go to eat? And they would tell you, this is where we're going to eat tonight. And sometimes you would actually have a meal with your host. And I thought that was a really beautiful thing. And then like private equity and more money got involved. And so it ruined it. Because now an Airbnb is also like sometimes worse than a hotel, because they'll let the person who owns the Airbnb set the rules. So now you have someone setting these insane rules for the Airbnb. Like, you can't just check out. You can't just take your trash, put outside, and leave. There are all these rules. Like, you have to make sure to wash the cabinets, wash all the dishes and everything, wipe everything down, you know, give our dog a bath. Also, you don't get charged a cleaning fee that you end up getting charged anyway, because in the small print, it was like pick up our kid from school. And you didn't see that part. So now you're spending all this money on Airbnb to just go somewhere nice like Italy. And then you get to Italy and everyone's mad at you for visiting Italy. But you're also mad because you're like, the rules in this Airbnb say I have to buy this house before I leave.